Kathy, this is your first television interview. We appreciate you coming by Bloomberg. 6 months onto the job. What have you been up to?
It has been a fantastic 6 months, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me. I have been to 10 states. I have met with over 600 consumer advocates, financial institution leadership, all kinds of people across the country engaged in and interested in protecting consumers. And so it's been quite a whirlwind. I've really been focused, too, on prevention of harm to consumers using the 4 tools that Congress gave us to carry out our mission: education, regulation, supervision, and enforcement. So all of them as effectively as we can.
I want to talk a little bit about them, and you know this. One of the criticisms from the business community under the previous administration was that the CFPB is a bit of a rogue regulator, and that on the rulemaking process, they had some concerns with what they argued was a lack of transparency. How have you differentiated from how the CFPB works from the Obama administration to the Trump administration?
So I have really spent my career focused on these kinds of issues. I've been engaged in rulemaking throughout my career at public service. So it's been a huge focus for me, really making sure that we are following the Administrative Procedures Act and all of the processes there to have consumer and public input, to have stakeholder input on all of the rulemaking actions. And we're really starting from the beginning of the process. A great example is our debt collection rule. So the Federal Debt Collection Practices Act was enacted in 1977. The Bureau, for the first time, was given the rulemaking responsibility for that and issued a notice of proposed rulemaking just a couple months ago. And we are really engaged in the process throughout from the beginning to solicit comments, to make sure we get evidence and data to make the best possible decisions. And we're engaged in even some additional research on disclosures that are going to work to help consumers.
And my understanding is that you're going to have that type of or you're going to have a conversation about Dodd-Frank in particular. The Dodd-Frank law in 2010 asked for the CFPB to define abusive practices. We still don't have a definition. It's 2019, and now that's where you guys are headed?
That is precisely what we're going to do. We are starting a conversation, in fact. There's some really challenging issues that the CFPB was given in Dodd-Frank to move out on, including thinking about what abusiveness means beyond the statutory definition. So we've launched a symposia series. We're going to have our first symposium on precisely that topic, bring in experts from all sides of the issue to really help us think about it, have that live stream to the public, and anyone who wants to engage in that discussion about what makes sense moving forward, we welcome that.
And that'll be in the next few weeks?
Yes, June 25th is going to be the date for that symposium. All
right, so we've dealt with criticisms from the business community about the CFPB. You've also gotten some criticism from the left, most notably by Senator Elizabeth Warren. They've argued that you've weakened the agency.
That is just not the case. As I started at the top, really focused on using the tools that Congress gave us and precisely carrying out the law as it stands. Look, we all care about protecting consumers. We just have different ways to do it. And I am focused on, as I said, the 4 tools that we have from Congress. Education, starting first and foremost with the consumer and empowering the consumer to make the best choices for themselves. They're in the best position to make those decisions, and we have to make sure that they're actually getting the information they need to make those decisions.
I know it's a legal case and you can't comment on it, but I got to ask, do you agree with the Trump administration's assessment that the CFPB is unconstitutional?
Look, as you noted, Kevin, there's active litigation, so it's not something I can comment on, but I appreciate your interest.
Well, let me know if you can. What about the issue of what some Republicans up on Capitol Hill say, which is that they want to see the CFPB shift toward a committee structure?
Yes, and I've talked to those members. I've also heard the opinion of members on the other side of that. I leave that kind of a question to Congress. I am really focused on the job that I have to do and the job I was given by the administration and by Congress.
So you're not trying to shut down the CFPB?
No, I am very much trying to carry out the mission that Congress gave us until Congress makes a change to that.
And you've done a lot of work on financial literacy, in particular for veterans. What can you tell me about that? Yes,
veterans and military service members and their families. So we have an exciting program called Misadventures in Money Management. It actually is gamifying consumer education, helping military members really see what actions might befall them if they make certain decisions. And so they do it through a game, essentially. And so a back and forth, it's a choose your own adventure video series. And we've really had a lot of success. I was down in San Antonio launching that for all active service members. We had family there. We had some veterans there as well. Huge shout out, frankly, to the Department of Defense for their work with us on financial readiness, a huge focus for them and one for us, too.